Good evening, beautiful beings. This is in our Silvertree here. Welcome to Silvertree Rune Readings. And yeah, let's get started with the reading. So I just finished up with a very relaxed meditation. It's a little later in the day, so don't mind my tone of voice, and it's a bit softer than usual, just for respect for my neighbors next door. The walls are very thin. So I hope my last reading found you well. I hope this reading finds you well, and if not, you take what you need from this message. And most importantly, anything that you listen to and that you feel inspired to share with another, go ahead and do so. I recently started my website, www.silvertreesounds.com. If you would like a personal reading with me for free, absolutely for free, I will not charge you anything. If you would like to donate, you're open to let me know if you want to set that up. Let me know. Email me at silvertree@silvertreesounds.com, and I'll get to you as soon as possible. And please visit my music YouTube channel as well. It's called Silvertree Sounds. If you're into experimental music, live music, meditation music, I do all kinds of different styles, and I'm currently finding my own voice musically. So thank you so much for tuning in. All right, here we go. So this is the rune I pulled, and after my meditation. And what's so interesting is that this is exactly how I'm feeling. It's a beautiful reflection of my energy. This is called the full moon rune. And with this rune, it's the face of the full moon. It's the manifestations of our dreams. It's an emphasis of our magnetic power, what we can achieve when we plant our seeds, when we give due diligence to the details in our construction of our vision. And it's a very feminine rune. Here, I'll show you. It's the circle. It's the all. Okay, it is I like to call it the womb of all that is, the womb of all creation. And anything can be planted within the womb. Anything can be created in this space. So initially, what I'm getting from this is cycles. They're all types of cycles. If you look at the concept of time, not from a linear standpoint that we're taught in schools, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yesterday, today, tomorrow. Notice that in those three words, or not yesterday, but today and tomorrow has the word to, T-O, to. Where are you going? To. I'm going to this place, to that place. Constantly, it's a very from point A to point B type of approach to time. But I'm asking you at this moment to take a step back and approach your life in a more cyclical way, in a more feminine way, where things, aren't always on time and things aren't always predictable, that you have to feel your way through moment to moment being, what does presence really mean? What does the now really mean? If you compare a line from this end of the paper to this end of the paper, there's a beginning and an end, right? There's your, beginning and your destination. But here, in this energy of the circle, we just keep going round and round and round and round. There is no end, and there is no beginning. There is no after. It's only now. And in a spiritual sense, human beings must evolve their perspective of what they think time is, what they think death is. Where is death in this energy? Right? The typical human concept and understanding of death means an end to something. You're right? Not a transition. But once you activate your inner knowing, your intuition, when you get in tune with your seasons, your own personal seasons, and I'm not talking about astrology. I'm not talking about that. That's a map that's already drawn out for you. I'm talking about studying you in the present moment, creating your own map, energy map, where it's more in alignment of your present moment, your life now, not what it needs to be or what it will be or what it has been, but right now. We can get stuck in this happened to me, our traumas, or we can get caught up in the spirit of nostalgia, where something phenomenal has happened to us and we try to relive that over and over and over and over again, which can cause us which can hold us back. And during these times of, a lot of self-isolation that we find ourselves going round and round in a circle, feeling stagnant and stuck. But there's freedom here. See how open this circle is? It's an open circle. If it was closed, it would be completely dark and black. It would be my new moon rune, which is it's a filled-in circle. It's a dark circle, and that is a symbolic for completion. This is opportunity. This is an opening. If you think of the birth canal, right? When we come through, our ability to see, we're not able to see very well in the first moments of our birth in this life. It's actually it's been documented that it's a very traumatic experience coming into this world when we take our first breath, when we feel the cold air in the room, and then we're comforted by warm hands and love. But there's that tunnel at the end of the canal, right? And that light, that opening. There's an opening for us as a human collective. There's an opening for all of us. And it's all about if you're inside, on the outside looking in, or the inside looking out. It really depends. What an image that comes up right now is there's a scene in Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, where they have just lost one of their people in the Fellowship. They lost a pivotal character, Gandalf, because Gandalf knew that his cycle was coming. It was ready for him to transition into a new space in his consciousness. And so he had to sacrifice himself. He had to release himself. And he felt fear of that, breaking that old cycle. You know, he was Gandalf the Grey, but he came back as Gandalf the White. But he had to face his deepest fear, which was that demon. Okay? But shortly after that scene, all of them are weary and heartbroken. And Frodo, the character, they go to deep in the magical woods of these group of fairies and elves. Not fairies, but elves. I don't know the name. But when they arrive, the queen elf, Galandrial, I think her name is, she automatically has a connection with Frodo, and she visits him when he can't sleep at night. And she approaches him. And right here, what I'm seeing is that moment where he's peering into what could be. It's like a well, like a pool. And they're both there, and she points to the possibility of what could be if he doesn't complete his mission, if he doesn't fulfill this purpose, if he doesn't complete the calling of destroying the ring. You know, taking the shadow back to where it comes from. And that can be a very scary process. But I want you to imagine your own well, your own wishing well, right? Even to this day, you go to any city center in the world, no matter how small, you know, small town, no one knows, or a city like New York City or Paris, they have all of these, and usually they're around like courtyards and, you know, very highly populated areas, but it's usually in the center of the city, that they'll have a water fountain, and then you throw coins in there for good luck, right? And it's a very ancient, I believe, a very ancient practice. It comes from a very ancient place. Even as a little girl, my dad, my father, or a relative or friend, we would, you know, I remember he would give me a quarter, he would give me pennies, and he said, okay, flick them in the water. And I'm like, why? To me, I'm like, why are we throwing our money in the water? I never quite understood that, you know. And later, someone from the city would be hired to come and collect all of our, you know, the coins, which I'm assuming they would put back into the city, which makes sense. But, you know, I want you to really feel that it's peer into your mirror of your life, not your whole life, but possibilities for yourself. I'm not sure how long this video will be this evening. I think it's going to be, I don't know how long. But I am also nearing my moon, meaning my moon day, meaning the shedding of my life waters, meaning in our typical English, standard English, your period. But I call it, you know, my life waters because they have given me life. When a woman sheds this water from her body, she's shedding tissues, minerals, cells, very powerful energy that sustained her from the month before. And so one of my rituals that I do is I give that back to the earth in any way that I can. And I'll save that for another time, but it really is very important practice for women to do that, because, you know, all that's in that blood has come in the shape of the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, our thoughts, our feelings, our personal experiences, the love we make or the lack thereof, our fears, our hopes. All of that is released in these waters. So again, really pay attention to your cycle also this time. And because this is full moon energy, which we're just leaving new moon, but this is full moon energy, which means illumination. So things will always be illuminated. You know, like I'm going to tie this back into the talk on time. I'm going to go backtrack a little bit. We get really, really, really dependent on our focus on, these maps. We as human beings, that we're many of us are so programmed to rely to being told what to do, how to think, how to feel. And when we get so tired of that standard way of living, we'll then go toward and take the alternative way. Alternative diets, alternative spirituality, alternative way of living, alternative sexuality, alternative, anything different from the program that kept us feeling numb and stable but controlled, right? But I think that a lot of the time, because we just don't know and we're ignorant and we can't remember, we fall into the same programs again and again, because there's something within us that needs to know that we're being taken care of, that we can rely on something outside of ourselves, right? People don't even think twice about the holidays that they worship and the holidays that they practice. They just go along because it's the thing to do, rather than really tuning in and saying, is this right for me? Is this in alignment of my interests? Is this in alignment of my values? We just had Valentine's Day, and that's supposedly supposed to be the day of love, that, for lovers and family, but specifically a day for lovers and romance. But no one questions it. And what's so funny is that, the world is going through, I want to be very careful in what I call this whole experience, because there are a lot of trigger words that have a lot of certain programming behind it, and I catch myself speaking in that language. I just want to be very heartful and mindful about that. But the gist of what I'm saying is, be careful, my spiritualists and my light workers and shadow workers. Be very heartful and be mindful of the timelines that you agree to with astrology, whether it's Vedic, whether it's Mayan, Chinese, Egyptian calendar, Tibetan calendar, Western astrology, Nordic astrology. There's nothing wrong with these blueprints, but I find that every time I read up, like, oh, what's happening for Scorpios, or what's happening for Aries, or what's happening with the planets, and it's like, and then I get obsessed, well, how is it going to affect my life? And it's like, oh, it's going to affect your life this way. And I'm asking myself now, like, am I being present when I'm doing that? Am I really sincerely being present in and with myself? Why don't I connect with my own and have developed my own unique relationship with the planet of Mercury? What is Mercury to me? Not from some astrologer, and not from what Google says, or Astrology Cafe has documented. All those are algorithms and AI, by the way. Those are programs. There's a human being out there who's put the coding together to make very accurate, but very general, very accurate, but very general readings. And you have to be very careful about that. The best reader in the world is you. The best astrologer in the world is you. The best psychic in the world is you. And what I mean by that is you are your own reader. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot to develop and to break those old cycles and to go through this portal here of opportunity to learn about yourself. So I am getting a bit tired now, and I must respect that energy. It's been kind of very busy. I've been around a lot of intense energy and lovely energy, a lot of love, but very intense. And so I just really want to respect that my body's getting tired. So I'm going to pull 3 runes here. Oh, how confirming is this? Look at that. And then we have this, the energy rune or crown. And then we have structure. We have structure, we have a building block or square. And that's very open energy. You don't see anything in there. You don't see anything sitting in there. So it's potentiality and what can grow and what can be. And use this feminine energy because all this energy is pointing to this, so to building using your blocks, using your resources for your opportunities, believing in yourself, believing in yourself, and also know that, because this also is symbolic for structure, very masculine energy, the square, and what's really funny is that last year 2020 was the 4 energy. There you go, that structure, that being inside. But no, step out of the box, step out of the box and into possibilities and what can be. Look into that well, like Frodo did. I mean, his circumstances were different. There's a lot of a lot of fear. But for you, look into your well of your potentiality and what could be possible for you. I'm going to end it there. I may this reading bring blessings, and may all my womb sisters out there, if you're near your moon cycle, give your life waters to the earth. Give that to her. She deserves it. And really just bathe in feminine energy. If you have just completed your moon cycle, use this as like just being grateful, for everything that has that you've shed and that you've learned in the previous month. A lot of the time when we're on our moon, shedding our life waters, it can be very emotional. I know I get irritable very easily. Want to be alone. I have the acne, the sore boobs, like all of that, and it can be kind of daunting. But just be patient with yourself. Be in tune with yourself. Respect what your needs are. And that's all. That's all. I'll end there. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you'd like a private reading with me, email me or visit my website and send me a message. It's www.silvertreesounds.com. Visit my music channel called Silvertree Sounds. And I love you. Continue to embrace supreme loving guidance. Expand your consciousness and evolve your human being. Thank you.